Hi, I'm Susan Beattie, author of Luke's Storybook Adventures, and we are back for part 2 of my visit to Busch Wildlife Sanctuary in Jupiter, Florida. I'll be talking to Stephanie, the hospital director, about the amazing story of Arvy the Pelican's rescue and rehabilitation. Arvy stole the hearts of Connecticut and Florida residents, bringing 2 states together for one of the most heartwarming stories. I hope you enjoy it. We're back, and I'm here with Stephanie, hospital director, and we're going to hear Arvy's story, which is fascinating. Tell us a little bit about Arvy and how he came here.
So Arvy was actually found up in Connecticut in -5 degrees in the middle of February on a frozen river under a pier. Pelicans don't belong anywhere in Connecticut in February. And so we think things like maybe she stowed away on a boat and was getting fed and got off course, maybe got blown off migration course. But she had frostbite. Hey you. And you can see on her toes where we had to do multiple surgeries to take off the dead frostbite tissue. So the facility that she was transported to, a place called Hope up in Connecticut, called us. They were calling multiple facilities trying to find somewhere to send her where she belongs. So they settled on sending her to us because they had volunteers that spoke very highly of us. They've heard many things about us. So they found 2 volunteers, a mother and daughter duo, to put her on this tiny little plane and fly her down here 12 plus hours. So their plane landed in Fort Lauderdale and they were picked up by another set of ground volunteers who drove them to my house at 8 p.m. at night. So I took her in at night, brought her into my house, let her out of the crate because she'd been in there for 12 hours, put her in my bathtub and let her stretch her wings and stuff. I had to tube feed her because she hadn't had any nutrition in 12 plus hours. So it was quite the night for the house guest in our little tiny apartment that I live in. And so when we brought her in, the vet took a look at her. She had a really wicked upper respiratory infection. She'd rattle anytime she breathed. So we had to do nebulizing treatments with her twice a day.
Wow.
We did 2 frostbite surgeries on her to remove the necrotic tissue. And I have never seen a bird fight so hard for her life and survive. And we've seen animals come in with less going on and they pass it. She's just fought through everything. She has such a fighter personality. She's so fun. Where do you think you're going to go over there? She's our good girl. She's still learning things. She's learning how to target train. She's learning how to be an ambassador. She's getting used to being around people. And that way we can tell her story and share pelicans and the love for ground pelicans with a lot more people.
Well, that's an amazing story. Wow. And so how old would you say she is now?
She's been here since February 5th. She's not even probably a year old at this point. She's still a baby. She was probably doing her first migration when she got either blown off course or got stuck on a boat or something. We get a lot of baby pelicans in, or juveniles, and we call it YND disease, young and dumb disease. They either migrate themselves to the point of exhaustion and we just gotta feed them and give them time to rest, or they just get themselves into precarious situations because they're young. And so she was an extreme case of probably young and dumb disease.
That's amazing. You have other pelicans here, so they all have a story too as to why and how. So, you know, as part of this, I'd like to talk just for a second. Is she still okay?
Yeah,
Is she comfortable?
She's a little frightened, but it's getting used to us. Are you happy, Flappy?
So if, so the students, this is all about education. If they should find an injured bird or an animal or anything, they can call Busch Wildlife Sanctuary. You can come out, pick up the animal. The most important thing is that you are the professionals.
Yes.
So for them not to try to do something at home that,
Like right now is baby bird season, so we're getting tons of calls about baby birds, and it's not always the case where we need to take and intervene with the baby birds. Sometimes they're just on the ground trying to learn to fly, and mom and dad are nearby, so always call. We will talk you through the situation and we will give you the best advice we can on if we need to even intervene or not.
Okay, well that sounds wonderful. Thank you for sharing Arvy's story. Did you name, obviously, did you give her?
No, the pilots named Arvy after the model plane that she was flown down on. When they flew her down, it was so small it only had enough for like 50 pounds in the cargo hold. So 6 pounds for her, 6 pounds for her crate, and like a change of clothes for each girl.
And that was amazing.
About it.
And again, to a mother-daughter who took on this,
Volunteered their time.
and it's all about, I even talked to the kids about volunteering. There are many things they can do, or even a career, like your career.
I love it. I started out as an intern here 11 years ago.
Did you?
Came back and volunteered a bunch, finally got hired about 4-ish years ago, and now I'm the hospital director here.
That's wonderful. Love it.
Well, I love this bird has meant a lot to not just me, but also the hospital. We love our Arvy girl.
You know, when I did Loggerhead, the turtle reef took almost 3 years to rehabilitate and save her. And when Jack was telling me that day her story, like I'm almost in tears.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, the whole staff, everybody. And lo and behold, she, you know, pulled through. So she's on the front cover of one of the books and her story. So this is fun to like the kids' stories because they all know Luke's story and Heather survived against all odds.
Yeah. Everybody here has a story. I mean, we have in hospital right now a little red shoulder hawk that came in. He's got 3 fractures in one arm. You can't fix that many fractures. And so instead of euthanasia, which is the likely case, we decided to make him an ambassador with us.
There you go.
And he's doing amazing. And we have a peregrine falcon who ran into power lines at the airport, obliterated one of the important bones in her wing, will never be released. So we're training her as an ambassador bird, and she is making strides in her training. So those animals that we can give homes to here, we try to. Like this, I fought so hard for her. There was even at one point where we were talking about euthanasia because we weren't sure if there was more dead bone in her feet. And I tried to hold it together, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
I kind of lost it.
And then the other thing I wanted to discuss quickly is the different animals that come here. You have the true, really wildlife in this area, from raccoons to armadillos to fox and bobcats, and right. So I wanted to teach the children that they all have their purpose in life, in wildlife. They you know, can you talk about any particular one just real quick that has its purpose?
We have a mom and 3 baby armadillos in the hospital that I was able to successfully reunite. They're important because they go and they turn over all the ground and they dig through looking for grubs and bugs, getting rid of those things in the ground that you might not want. So everything is important and everything has its place.
So that's what I'm teaching. We have a club now, Luke's Clubhouse. And the logo has all the different critters, more of like the butterfly and the ladybug, and so we have all these critters. But the squirrel is in one of the books as Luke's friend. So we have a critter of the month, and the squirrel is our first critter of the month as we launch Luke's Club. And what the purpose of the squirrel is, exactly what you said. They have a purpose. So besides wildlife and the animals and squirrels, we also have. I guess you would say the insects and that as well. So.
Everything is important in the chain here, and that's one thing I've learned. I mean, we've gotten butterflies brought into us with little wing injuries, and one of our keepers is amazing with butterflies. She'll take them home. She'll do her best to try to rehab them. If not, she'll let them live out their little life cycle with her in her greenhouse there.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing the stuff we see come through.
Well, it takes a community to support, and we're excited about your new location out in Jupiter Farms. And that will be happening hopefully in the near future. So if anyone wants more information about, you know, donations, they need the money to build the hospital, to do everything to make a facility like this run and save the animals.
Yes, everything's going to be 3 times the size it is now to accommodate the 6,000 plus animals that we get.
Excellent.
I'm so excited.
Well, we'll come out and film when you open. I hope you enjoyed this video, and for more information about Luke's storybooks and my virtual speaking engagements for schools, click the link to my website in the description below or send me an email. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up or leave a comment. If this is the first time you've been to my site, tap the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any of our new videos.